Hi, I'm Max Spainhour.
And I'm Troy McCormick. Welcome to Indiana Outdoor Adventures. Welcome to Indiana Outdoor Adventures. Today I'm with Hubert Von Holten with Life Essentials. Now Hubert's got quite a story for us, and we're going to spend a little time learning a little bit about him and a little bit about what he does, because Hubert works to help people help themselves and get back to work. Is that kind of a good summary?
Yeah.
Okay, well let's go from there. Hubert, we've got a business here called Life Essentials, and you're all kind of about, from what I understand, helping farmers get back to work.
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit, in a nutshell, what Life Essentials does.
We take fellows that have just been recently disabled and put them back to work doing as good a job as what's possible. So I can take a person that's handicapped from middle down, has no feelings whatsoever, and has no chance of climbing up in a tractor or a combine, and we build specialized equipments for the individual.
And that's what it's all about, building that equipment customized for each individual.
And each individual, because sometimes we got no right arm, no left arm, no left leg, or we got one fellow that has no legs and no arm, and he still farms. And you know, you just got to do with what you got.
Right, and what you do is kind of take their needs and customize equipment to get them back into their farming equipment.
Correct.
And that could be everything from a wheelchair to get them to the tractor, or a truck with a lift in it that they can transfer out of the truck to the equipment, to actual lifts on the equipment itself.
That's correct. And each one of these is just like, I had a telephone call from Pennsylvania, two young fellas. They're just about 32 and 29 inches tall, young men.
Okay.
And they wanted to milk cows.
Okay.
We designed a platform that run back and forth on the wall. On both sides, they put all their supplies on it, made the steps so when they come up, they look like a diving board.
Okay.
And it was just as fast as what a normal person could move. They cut 45 minutes out of their milking time. Wow. And now they're farming 200 head, milking 200 head of cows, and all we did is went in there and give them just a little bit of help.
Now, you've obviously got a personal interest and experience in working in these situations.
I had polio when I was 5, and I spent 14 years every year in the hospital with surgeries and different things. So by the time I got to be where I could get out and spend a year without going to the hospital, I was about 14 years old.
Okay.
And
now the polio, how did it affect you? I mean, what limitations did it have?
It affected my total left side to my middle. I have a little bit of use, I did have a little bit of use out of my right leg that I could move it around.
Okay. And so Dad decides you guys are going to go out to the country.
That's right.
And he started farming.
That's right. And when I got there, I was looking for the bathroom. There was no bathroom. It was an outhouse. And the only thing that was in the kitchen was an old pitcher pump.
You guys went from the city to very rural Indiana.
Stoker heat. Yeah. Running water.
Now, there were some obvious limitations that you had to overcome to help farming. Is that kind of what started where you are today?
That's where... when I turned 18, just like any kid, I had my car bought and paid for, and I had an apartment rented, and I had birthday at noon, and I left, and I went out and started my own life. Okay. And I worked in the factory, tried to work in the factory for about 13 years as a tool and die maker, and I could find that, you know, there was no advancements. I couldn't get around the factory well enough, so I had the brainstorm of starting to my own business.
Okay. Now, at what age was this?
This was about 27,
27, okay.
28.
Hubert, I have to tell you, I admire your outlook on life, your willingness to almost dedicate your life to helping other people, and you're a bit of a motivator for your clients when they come in, because I would think that there are different stages of depression that go along with dealing with a handicap or a limitation. What would you say to somebody who may have given up hunting or fishing or going out and enjoying state parks and natural areas because of an accident or an illness that bound them to a wheelchair or to a walker or something? What's at the heart of how you motivate people?
Well, the real bottom line is everybody gives lip service to disabled people.
Okay.
Truly not too much interested in them.
Okay.
Don't care about their handicap. So if that's the way the public feels about it, great. That's the way I should feel about it. And that's the way I do. My disability is only between my ears.
Okay.
So I can do anything I want to do, maybe a little differently. And I've done everything from hang glide to scuba dive.
That's cool.
Four-wheeling, snowmobiling,
Yep.
skiing. I mean, I've just done it all. And people says, well, you can't do that. Well, I can't if I believe I can't. But if I believe I can, there's no reason I can't.
I kind of get the feeling you're not the person to say you can't do something to.
No,
It's going to motivate you a little bit more.
absolutely. When somebody tells me I can't do something, I mean, when I used to snowmobile, I was either first or second. Third was completely out of the question.
If there's someone right now watching the show thinking, what he's doing is pretty neat, but I just don't think I could do it, what would you say to him?
I would say the only reason you can't is because you're not trying.
You know what? Let's take a break, and we'll come back with more. And I think I'm ready to go out into the shop and see a little bit of some hands-on stuff that you're doing.
Great.
So stay tuned, and we'll be right back with more Indiana Outdoor Adventures. The Old Goat Trading Post in Bloomingdale, Indiana, offers not only traditional fur hides, hats, and mountain man-like apparel, but beautifully crafted spirit hides. Artistically sculpted from elk, moose, deer, and buffalo hides, they are the perfect wall hanging for your home or vacation cabin. The shaved hair sculpture and original painted scenes combine to create a natural canvas and work of art. Visit www.oldgoattrading.com for more information. Life Essentials in Brookston, Indiana provides the products you need to become more independent. Products like our Journeyman wheelchair provide all-terrain access for the hunter and all-around outdoorsman. Every year, thousands of people are born with or acquire disabilities. Whether your special needs are for residential, commercial, agricultural, or just enjoying the outdoors once again, we customize our lifts and mobility products to fit your needs. We're raising you to new heights. Call today and we'll work with you to take back your life. Sugar Camp Lodge offers some of Indiana's finest trophy deer and wild turkey hunting opportunities. We have 400 acres of woods, marshes, and farmland that provides amazing habitats to hunt. You'll enjoy great meals and accommodations in our beautifully remodeled 1850s lodge. Sugar Camp Lodge is available for meetings, get-togethers, and special occasions. Visit us online at www.sugarcamplodge.com for more information and to book your next hunting adventure. When did you actually kind of decide to start working with disabled farmers?
I was contacted by Dr. Bill Fields at Purdue University, and he came out and pestered me that I ought to build this for people that are disabled.
You got to help some other people.
And I blew him off a couple times, and a couple years later, why I give him some time, and I could see that I was getting harder to get in and out of combines and equipment. And the first fella I visited, why I was in Pennsylvania, and they took a payloader and cleaned the manure off of it, dump him in that, take him up to the back window of the John Deere tractor and shake him in, get him out. They'd tie a rope around him and back him, pull him out, and he'd swing like a, just sit there and swing, and they drop him down in his wheelchair.
Wow.
And I looked at that and I says, okay, we need to have a lift to help him, because That was the old square cab yet. I mean, very hard to get into. Folding doors and, you know,
Very narrow.
Very narrow. Purdue had a lift that they had kind of designed, but it went from point A to point B. Okay. So there was no adjustments. I mean, if you didn't hit it the first time and his wheelchair was someplace else, you couldn't go get the wheelchair. In the tractor was fairly decent, but I couldn't get his knees next to the seat. So
limited movement.
Limited movement. So we started playing around, and I come up with the lift that we have now. That was kind of the beginning. We've modified it lots of times, but where it could pick a person up, take him out of his wheelchair, put him in the cab of the tractor, put his knees right next to the seat. So all he had to transfer is from here to here, okay, which was very easy, because what I always found is the energy that I spent getting up in the tractor was more than I spent for the whole day working it.
I would think so.
And that was my goal, to try to get it so that people didn't have to work hard. I put my lift down below, they transfer downhill, they get out of the wheelchair, want to back into the wheelchair, we go up, they transfer downhill. They get in the tractor, they transfer downhill to the seat. They want to get out of the seat, they put the lift low, they transfer downhill.
You're not trying to lift up all the time.
Not trying to lift your body up, because your shoulders are only going to last so long in life.
Right.
That's my problem.
Which
They're
makes
gone.
sense. So the majority of what you're doing now, I mean, well, I don't even want to say majority, because you have all kinds of wheelchairs. You have personal lifts for in the home, for residential
in the home
use. But you've got this big market for agriculture.
This big market for agriculture. One of the nice things about that is that we're already have a person here that is trained, okay, is motivated, has got the desire. All they need is just a slight bit of help to show them that just because you're in a wheelchair doesn't mean I can't get in that combine. Doesn't mean that I can't get in my tractor. Doesn't mean that I can do just about as much out of a good wheelchair as I could when I was normal.
If you remove the physical limitation, farmers are some of your hardest workers you're ever going to find.
Our success rate with working with farmers is when we get involved with them and we put them back to work by Wisconsin University's study, okay, of hundreds and hundreds of farmers, we have a 98.8% success rate.
Now wait a minute, you're saying that out of the disabled farmers that you work with, 98.8 of them go back to work and are successful.
And are employed more than just 5 minutes.
Hubert, tell me a little bit about the Journeyman wheelchair. I mean, this wheelchair is not your normal chair.
No, I designed this chair for me.
Okay.
Because I've been in chairs and they just don't do what I want.
Okay.
If I can't get there, I want the wheels to be turning and I'm stuck. But I want the wheels to be turning.
You want them turning all the time?
All the time. Anywhere. If I'm here on this concrete and they don't sit there and spin, it's not a good enough chair, because what I'm trying to push is still there.
Now the Journeyman chair, though, it rolls in a lot more places than on concrete. Tell me a little bit about not necessarily the specifications.
I've got some prairie grass out here that's probably 4 or 5 foot tall, very thick at the bottom. You can't hardly walk through it, and I can drive all over out there. And we have been to, in 12 years, we've been to about 300 national parks. And more than half of those parks we've been on trails.
So this is an outdoorsman's chair. I mean, it's got the larger wheels. They're kind of like tractor wheels.
They're just good-sized tractor wheels that you buy at your local farm shop. $19.
What makes the chair so special for outdoor use?
I have 2 motors on each wheel.
Okay.
When I turn, I drop one motor out. That allows the other wheel, the pulling wheel, to have more horsepower. It's 3 wheels so that I'm always sitting on the ground.
Okay.
And people say, well, a 3-wheel vehicle is not very strong, or it tips over. Okay. Now, I don't know, but if you would stand up, please, and stand on that pad right there. Go ahead. Just, okay. Well, stand on it. Okay. Now, how high do you want to go?
Look at him. Lift me up. course, you're going to lift me up out of frame eventually, but
Well,
that's got power. It really does. So
now I don't know what you weigh, but I mean, it's about 98 pounds, and I had no problem lifting you.
No.
And the chair didn't offer to tip over at all. I didn't do nothing. I didn't lean out here or whatever.
Is it fair to call it an all-terrain wheelchair?
It would be as close to an all-terrain wheelchair as what you're ever going to get.
It's a tri-wheelchair. It's got tremendous power.
I can take in a cornfield standing. I can drive this way, that way, down a row. I can go anywhere out in a standing cornfield that I want to go.
So an outdoorsman could go hunting and fishing, and you've already said hundreds of trails in state parks and national parks where you've got somewhat groomed trails, but you still got roots and dirt and sometimes steps. And I've seen you take this thing and push. How much did that forklift weigh?
6,000 pounds.
He pushed a 6,000-pound forklift with this wheelchair, and I also watched you go up and over
the forks.
A block of wood.
Yeah.
And, maybe we'll have to go outside here, maybe, and you can take it through the.
Some of that grass out there.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is that because you're maybe bound to a wheelchair, or maybe you just use a wheelchair to make life a little easier.
Both of those.
Doesn't mean you can't go hiking and hunting and fishing. And in fact, we've got some video of a young man that we're going to look at that took one of your journeyman chairs deer hunting this year. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about that young man and what happened.
Well, he was out here, and I told him that he was in that demoralizing piece of equipment, that hand wheelchair. And he just got mad and left.
This was a non-motorized wheelchair.
Non-motorized manual wheelchair. He just looked at me. He didn't want to hear that. He didn't want to hear that, and he walked off, and he rolled out the window, and I said bye to him, and he ignored me and left. A while back, he comes back, a little later on, and he come, and we were doing some work on some equipment, and I says, here, get in this wheelchair and go for a ride. Well, yeah, I don't want to do this. This chair is just fine. I said, okay, get in here. He went out and he went through some of the prairie grass and he went all around the property and he come back and he didn't say much. And I says, was that easier? Totally ignored me. Got in his manual chair and left.
He left again.
So then it comes hunting time.
There you go.
Hot dog.
Deer season.
Deer season. And our salesman, Rick Norwood, evidently knows him because he comes back and says, hey, he's wanting a wheelchair to go hunting in.
Wants to try it out a little bit more.
So I made him come back, swallow a little pride, have to load it on his trailer, and take off.
Okay.
And we give him a big yellow sheet of plastic to pull behind it so he could put his deer on it and pull the deer out of the woods. And I guess he went hunting. In a couple hours, he had him nice, good deer.
Wow.
And he took and pulled the deer out of the woods with his chair, down through a cornfield. And
he's pulling the deer behind the chair?
Behind the chair, completely out. He didn't tie it down very well. It fell off a couple times. But it's where he was at, he couldn't have got in with a four-wheeler. It was too big. Okay. The grass was too heavy, too thick, that he could have got in there with a manual chair. And it took him 2 hours to wind up getting his deer.
That's an impressive story that obviously goes to show that limitations are only what you make them. With the equipment that you're making, you're eliminating or greatly reducing a lot of those factors to help not only farmers, but hunters and fishermen and outdoorsmen so they can get
Anybody that wants to accomplish something in life, more than what they're able to do, because when you got both hands busy trying to move yourself, there's nothing you can do. I can drive right-handed, I can drive left-handed, I can lift things, I've got something to hang on to, and that makes all the difference in the world.
In talking about getting people back out into the woods to enjoy what they used to enjoy, maybe before an accident, or before a disease of some kind gave them some limitations. Tell me, you've got a new project you're working on for deer hunters, and we're going to see a little bit about that. But tell me a little bit about this concept of the tree stand lift.
What we're going to try to come up with is just a round pole, 10, 12 foot tall, that'll be able to have a chair on it, that would be able to lift a person up, that could either be fastened to your tailgate of your truck, so you get around, sit on it, it'll raise you up maybe 8 foot, 10 foot above the cab of your truck or the bed of your truck, which allows you then, and that would be motorized so that you can push a button and the seat then would just pivot 360 degrees. When you're done, you come down, you just fold your tailgate up, put it in a stand and drive off. Until the hunting season's over, it's there, ready to go. And
so you could have this mounted out in the woods.
This either could be mounted on the tailgate of your truck or it can be mounted on a tree.
Okay. And with the journeyman chair, you could go through the woods to get.
I can go hunt that deer down when he's laying out there somewhere and have a better chance of getting there than I would if I was in a manual wheelchair.
You know, because the chair gives you accessibility to other places, but this new tree stand lift, I don't know what you're going to call it yet. It's still prototype stage.
It's still prototype stage, but
I think from what I've seen in the shop, I could hunt out of it right now.
Right.
It could be pulled behind a truck. It could be fastened to a tree. You could take a trailer hitch ball and mount to several different trees in the woods.
Right.
And relocate this thing.
Or you could pull it out there with a small tractor or a four-wheeler.
There's a lot of options.
A lot of options.
And I think, like I said, you're taking.
And we're just taking a piece of equipment there that we use to put people in their tractors and combines and other pieces of equipment, and we've just modified it a little bit here, put a little bit of camouflage on it, but
A little adaptive reuse and some creativity.
that's it.
Stay tuned. We'll be back with more Indiana Outdoor Adventures.
Lawrence County is an unexpected destination found in the heart of southern Indiana rolling hills, offering recreational landscapes, a rich limestone heritage, and unique outdoor experiences. This area is limestone country, well known for limestone quarries and stone carving heritage. It's also the home of Spring Mill State Park, geocaches, the scenic East Fork of the White River, and underground caverns. Plan your adventure at limestonecountry.com or call 800-798-0769.
Here at Whitehall's Whitetails, after 20 years of growing trophy bucks, we have developed a product called Buck Bullets, a hybrid supplement.
Buck Bullets is not only designed to be an excellent attractant, but also a fully loaded supplement to improve antler growth and health of your deer herd. It can be used in your backyard wooded area or in your hunting area.
You too can add at least 10 to 20 inches of antler to bucks in your hunting area the first year with Buck Bullets fully loaded hybrid supplement. After serving our country, serious injury shouldn't prevent our veterans from enjoying life. Paralyzed Veterans of America works with veterans to ensure that their health care and benefit needs are met, provides assistance with career needs, and offers challenging and rewarding activities. The Kentucky and Indiana chapter of PVA is proud to provide adaptive sports for members that includes hunting, fishing, trap and skeet shooting, bowling, and billiards. Visit us online to learn more about Paralyzed Veterans of America. Welcome back. Today we're talking with Hubert Von Holten of Life Essentials, who works with farmers and other agricultural needs individuals that have some kind of a physical limitation and works to get them back into the tractor or the combine or back in the field so that they're working on the farm again. And Hubert, we've been talking about the different kinds of equipment that you make here at Life Essentials, and I think a lot of what we really are focusing on is you finding customized ways to get guys that want to work, that have a disability, back into their equipment.
Be as self-sufficient as they possibly can. I mean, like me, I cannot lift myself up. If I get down on the floor, there's no way. My shoulders are completely gone. I haven't got enough power that I couldn't lift myself if the place was on fire.
But yet you work a full day every
I
day.
get up, take care of myself, put myself to work, and I get out there at 7, and then and 8, 9 o'clock I come back in and I'm ready to quit.
And the type of equipment that you're building are, a lot of them are lifts or to assist in a transfer from a chair to either a piece of equipment, or in a residential setting, you've got a transfer lift to get in the bathroom.
I got a lift designed that can pick me up, put me in the bathtub, put me in bed, put me back in my wheelchair, down on the floor, and this eliminates a caretaker for me. I would have to have somebody help me get dressed. I can go from there right into the bathtub, and it's all radio remote, so that you don't have to have a cord that's changed up, and that just lets you up and down. We can put a 300-pound person in here and move them around with 3 pieces of hair. Grab a hold of their ear. This floats it's all on needle bearings and roller bearings.
What kind of assistance do agricultural farmers have available to buy specialized equipment to get them back into the field? Are there places that provide?
There are places such as Voc Rehab, which help people that are lost their ability to work to be able to put back to work.
To get them back into
Easter Seals and Goodwill and many organizations out there. Veterans program.
You know, I've worked with the Paralyzed Veterans of America, and I know they do a lot of fishing and hunting to get guys back into the outdoors. Maybe there's something out there that'll come into play. But I really like the fact that you're working to not only provide people a chair for getting around the home, or a lift for getting to work, but also for some enjoyment in the outdoors, whether it's hiking, hunting, fishing, visiting state parks, even camping. Your kind of equipment is providing the needs for people to get out and enjoy.
I'm small enough that I can get into a tent, I can get into the bathrooms, I can go where you normally can't get with a hand wheelchair because they're longer.
Right.
It's just, I built it so I could beat it up.
There you go. And it obviously takes abuse well. It's the next to all-terrain wheelchair I've ever seen.
I can run in water 10 inches deep, sit out there with my dogs and play half a day.
There you go. I love it. Well, Hubert, I really appreciate the time. I appreciate what you're doing, and looking forward to seeing some of these new products that you've got coming out fairly soon for outdoorsmen.
We're working on them.
That's great. Join us again next week right here on Indiana Outdoor Adventures.